Welcome to the AMSR of the Cucked podcast. I've had some. Jesus Christ! Good evening and welcome to episode 55. Or good morning, because if you're listening in the morning like some of you do, fucking weirdos, good morning to you.
Hey Chris,
or good
another
night.
Dan.
There we go. Shout out. Or good night if you're listening to us in your sleep.
Hey Lindsay.
I hope you have a wonderful sleep. Just think of sheep jumping over a small fence. All is well in the world. And these three idiots are going to talk about movies to send you all to sleep.
But what if you put Dan and Chris to sleep and they're listening in the morning and they're doing
are they driving?
well, they're going to work and they do really early shifts. This could be really bad.
Should be crushed.
Shall I step in and help here? Wake up!
Go on. Wait, wake up!
But you better get this on the table. Now Lindsay's going to shit herself in the middle of the night. We can't win.
Be worth it. It's not us who has to clean it up, it's Liam.
Send us a message if you shat yourself in the middle of the night. Just on our Twitter, on our socials. Thank you very much. Join me is Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Good afternoon.
Whose socks are inside out and he got some new glasses.
No, I haven't got them. I've ordered some and I'm craving.
He's ordered.
I am craving peanut M&Ms.
Well, it puts two and two together when your socks are inside out and you do need new glasses. And I'm just saying, that's probably the reason why you've ordered them, maybe.
That and the opticians told me that my eyes were fucked, yeah.
Okay.
Not because his socks are inside out.
I didn't take my feet off there and they went, "Oh, are those inside out? We better get you a prescription, sir."
Can you just put your feet on the table?
That's how they check now.
Yeah. It wasn't an optician's I went to, it was a podiatrist. I got them totally mixed up.
Fair enough. And back from festival ongoings with two black eyes is Penny. Hello, Penny.
Hi! He is correct. I do have two bruises. I got a bruise either side of the bridge of my nose and two slight black eyes. And it was totally worth it.
All the moshing and doshing, as the kids say.
Noshing. A lot of noshing going on.
Lot of noshing to download. Yeah.
No, you were telling us about all the food you were eating. What are you thinking about?
I paid £10 for a pizza that was not worth £10.
Yeah.
Me and Andy paid £10 for a double succulent Domino's pizza, and it was fucking lovely on the same day, I think, pretty much.
It was a couple of days apart, but yeah, it was not bad.
Well, shout out to Domino's, please sponsor us. We'll fucking shout out the double
Don't sponsor me. Send me a Pizza Hut stuffed crust. Fuck you, Domino's.
It's the only thing that Domino's do that's good. I'm sorry.
Domino's doesn't do anything good. It always turns up cold.
Yeah, it's true, but like the one thing they had that they brought back, the double decadence, is actually quite good. So I'm kind of, and I never usually order from Domino's, but like,
did it give you the shits this time?
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, do I want to? I'm not going to tell that story. That was not a nice. No, because I went to the other Domino's that were named nameless, so that I don't throw them under the bus here, but I went to the other Domino's store, so I didn't get the shit.
The one sans food poisoning. Which, if you have a choice, is the one you should always go for.
What?
The one that won't
Domino's
give you
without
food poisoning.
Food poisoning.
Well, that's why I don't go to Papa John's, because I don't know whether it's the cheese or whatever, but it just makes my shit come out like lava pretty fucking rapidly.
Hello, Lindsay, if you're still listening. Still listening. Right, anyway, let's get into this. So later on today, we are going to discussing Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter, as chosen by Andy for Film Out of the Hat.
Classic film, award-winning.
Was it award-winning? Did it? Are you...
Sure, I'll give it an award.
Oh, okay. You
I still don't know how I feel about it.
No, me neither.
It's weird. Well, maybe we'll come to the decision later. But first, guys, you may remember on the last episode, bye, Pen. Pen's just walked off again. This happened on fucking 52.
Sorry, I went to
and now
get
she's just,
something
as soon
while
as
you were
I
talking.
start,
I've got my headphones in. I can hear you. Don't panic. Auntie Pen's still here.
I mean, we just can't do it without you, as proven by the end of episode 52. So anyway, last week I teased something that I was watching while I was on my travels away from the podcast, and it's been with me ever since. And the way it was an accidental thing that happened. Now, you could say, oh, yeah, whatever, Dan, but look, I'm in a loving relationship for over 5 years. I feel like I'm in court.
It sounds like
you're
about to out yourself.
I mean, some people...
You can still watch porn if you've got a girlfriend, Dan.
Yeah,
that's absolutely... It's true, but...
Doesn't have to be hetero porn. You can still watch gay porn. No one's going to judge you.
No.
It's not really gay porn, but it kind of... whatever. Right, so... I got fascinated by this guy called David Dikutu. I don't know how to pronounce his second name. I've tried practicing beforehand, and I'm still fucking up. So let's say David. David has been making movies since 1986, right? And he's made 102 movies.
Wow.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot. Made 37 since 2010 and counting. So he's made fucking... tons of them. Now,
That's like 3 a year.
It could be even more sometimes. The thing about David, and the thing that fascinated me about him first, and this is my new series, brand new series from Dan, called Behind the Series. We take a look at film history and the films that made that series, including directors, producers, could be writers even, like we did with Paul W.S. Anderson. New series.
I wanted to say that I'm proud of
Dig
you
it.
for another stupid title, but I won't be when I have to type it out.
Okay, it's Behind the Series then. Just go Behind the Series with your host. I was going to call it Behind the Director's Chair, but I felt that was a bit cocky.
It's a bit creepy.
It's a bit
like you're
presumptuous, isn't it?
creeping up on the director.
No, because you know how you always see the back of a director's chair when they're, with their name on the back, and it's kind of like you're talking about how the behind the scenes of how this guy made films and stuff like that. But we'll just call it Behind the Series, because I probably am just going to look at a bunch of series of films.
With Dan.
Behind the porno with Dan, your host. So, David made a lot of films since the 80s. He started out making a lot of horror films. Penn would be a big fan. He made a lot of comedy horror films. Would you like to know some of the titles before I get into the main bits?
Yes, please.
Okay, so what about Good Men Go Bad? No?
No.
Okay. Test Tube Teens from the year 2000.
I'm in.
Are we still on comedy horror or are we on porn again? I don't really know.
It's kind of a mixture. It's that kind of sexy comedy horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of, by the way, he's like a director, producer of kind of all these films and stuff. But Nightmare Sisters, which was in 88. Mm-hmm. Dr. Alien, which is about a sexy alien in 1989. Naked Instinct in 1993.
That's good. That's a good pun.
Petticoat Planet. I've no idea what that is, from 1996. Petticoat Planet. There's a bunch of them, but like since like the 80s and 90s, he's kind of made the same kind of films, I would say. He also did some of the Puppet Master films, if people can remember those. He was doing all these kinds of films in the 80s and 90s. And then in the year 2000, guys, he decided to go into like, I guess, territory that you could consider rip-offs of other films that have happened. We already kind of saw that with Naked Instinct, obviously. But then he started doing The Wolves on Wall Street, or sorry, The Wolves of Wall Street in 2003, which was essentially what you think it is, except they're brokers or werewolves.
Oh, that sounds so good.
That's genius.
Yeah.
That's genius.
I mean,
And you become the main character becomes a werewolf after getting bitten by one of these stockbrokers. They all try to make money and become werewolves at the same time.
That sounds fantastic.
overachievers. Pick one or the other, but I'm in.
Or what about Witches of the Caribbean? Which is...
I think I'm still in.
It's kind of like a lesbian witches thing where a bunch of girls fall in love with each other who are all witches.
It happens.
And
probably.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. By the way, I've watched a lot of his films for this thing, and
Yeah, of course it is. It's just for this thing.
yeah, or Beastly Boys.
Okay, I don't think I want to know what that's about.
Yeah. See, all of these could be comedy, horror, or porn parodies. Seems like they're a
Yeah.
thin line.
He mixes it up between comedy, horror, ripping off other things, but they kind of have like a sexy edge to them. But the thing about him is, in 2011, he went in a very different direction, some would say. And he created a series called the 1313 series. Now, some people in the interwebs maybe know about this series, as it's been kind of documented by many people in the past. I didn't know this, but as I watched the films, and as I got probably to the third or fourth one, I realized that these series of films all featured a very constant thing in every single film, which was...
The number 1313?
No, half-naked boys or men. And every single one of the 1313 series features topless men. And normally you would think, okay, so maybe there's a topless scene in it. No, I'm talking about the entire film. Sometimes, in most of these films, they are just in their underwear.
Okay.
Like, throughout the entire film. I'll take you through his 13 films that he did for the 1313 series, and I guess describe them if you want to know more about them, because yes, I have watched the majority. I've seen like bits of other ones that I haven't watched, but I have watched 13 of these fucking films to see why they were so popular in terms of like in a meme way and stuff. By the way, he made all these 13 films in the space of 2 years.
Huh.
That can't be good.
His track record for most of his films throughout his career, he makes about 8 to 10 films a year and still going since the 80s.
I've never made a movie.
Yeah.
Right. But you know how in my anthology series we're like, slightly more time that you have, the better they are.
Yeah.
I can't feel...
Well,
unless he's using the same people and he's got the same... If he's already set up, you know.
I thought, how could he possibly do this? And then I watched the films and then I realized why. So I'll explain. So the first one he made was 1313 Nightmare Mansion. And this was about a demonic young man lures 6 high school classmates to a party in his elegant Malibu house so he can sacrifice their souls and bring his dead mother, who was killed during the Salem witch trials 300 years ago, back to life. That's the first one.
Okay.
Now, that movie was not good. I kind of was like, okay, maybe this is because it was his first one. It's okay. I'll move on to the second one. The second one was called 1313 Wicked Stepbrother. Jared Minecraft is horrified to learn that a faceless killer is celebrating his 18th birthday by filling his mansion, do you see a trend here, with corpses of his closest friends.
So there's an 18-year-old serial killer that's killing all his friends.
There's a bit of a trend here when it comes to main character has a house or mansion and has friends in said house or mansion.
Where we can keep our cameras set up and keep filming.
Yeah. Is it the same film, but shot from different perspectives?
It's all different people before you make that.
But is it the same house?
Exactly. It's David's house, is from what I kind of think it's basically
well,
David.
If you've got a mansion, you've got to use it.
He has a nice house, to be honest. He's got a pool in it, and it's like he's got a spiraling staircase in the living room. For some reason, he has like a mini car in his living room as well, and like a. It's fucking weird, his house. He's got weird stuff in the house. But every single movie is filmed at this house. And it hasn't even got like different props and stuff about. He just sort of just keeps it the same.
What?
So you just have 13 films with kind of different plots, with different men who are pretty much in their underwear in the same house, but with different storylines all the time. And they kind of blend into one, which I guess why it's called 1313. I guess. I don't really know. I'm still confused by the whole series and stuff. It is a mixture of things, each one of these films, where it's like, boy has murderous friend and they're going to kill his friend and blah, 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 blah. So he does that for like 4 films. Like there's 4 films he does that. And then he goes into kind of Sharknado territory with the 1313 series, where he has 1313 giant killer bees.
What?
Hang on. Giant killer bees?
Giant
How
killer bees.
big is a giant killer bee? Because I want them to be like an American football sized bee.
Yep. I was thinking polar bear sized.
The plot of this is like, there's going to be like a disaster because the last of the bees are dying out. So they're trying to make generic or genetically modified bees in order to save the planet. The people who are making these are obviously hot young men wearing nothing but underwear in a chemistry lab.
That just sounds dangerous. Imagine what would happen with the Bunsen burners. Jesus.
It's so funny because they're just like not wearing much and they've got goggles. So it's like, what's the point of the goggles? You got fucking everything else is exposed while you're wearing goggles. So the bee itself that they make is a CGI bee, of course, but it's about the size of my fucking 42-inch TV behind me.
Okay.
Like it's huge. And this is the part that happens in all the films. I'm just going to say it now because I was going to save it to the end, but all the films sort of just end. Like when it...
Like a hatchet ending?
So...
Like a Birdemic ending.
Like, imagine every single one of these 13 films, but you're like, there's not really a story. I can't even really describe it.
I also have a question about how good the CGI is.
It's not as bad as Birdemic, because he does have a bit more money, I think, but it's bad. The acting is terrible. It's just, the script is the worst thing in the world. It's just bad. But, like, I immediately thought, oh, this is another Neil Breen. But the fact that he's chugging out these movies so fucking much.
Yeah.
And they're not really, like, I was thinking, am I watching just a gay film that is meant to be for gay people to watch because they want to see half-naked men and no storyline? Like, is it that kind of porn thing where it's like, the storyline's bullshit, but the main attraction is the guys here? Like, that's what I was starting to question. Is this actually like a serious film just with some like homoeroticism in it? Or is it actually just like
I feel like you
something
could
else,
have
you know?
both, though. You could have a story, but it depends what he thinks he's going for, I guess.
One of my favorites is 1313 Haunted Frat House.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Which is during spring break,
Of course
a
it
bunch
is.
of guys wearing underwear hang out in David's mansion, and the entire movie, and this is the entire movie, right? I'll explain the entire movie. It'll take me 2 minutes. The opening scene is 30 minutes long, and it includes a man in his underwear having a bad dream, walking around his house in his underwear for 30 minutes slowly. So that's the first scene.
For 30 minutes. Is he like calling out? Do we not get a dream sequence?
Nope.
Huh.
It's a guy having a bad dream about him walking around his house in his underwear.
So I don't want to make any assumptions about David.
Yeah.
And any of his life choices are fine. But when you make a
Sure.
movie in a DIY sense, you're like, I've got a story to tell, or I've got a movie I want to make. So maybe it's not about like a movie, I don't want to say for gays, but like it's David's movie. Maybe he wants to have lots of naked men in his house to film.
Well, that sounds like what it could be. Because this is essentially a full-time job. If he's doing this, like, if he's doing 10 a year, even if
He's
he's
not
doing
doing
it
anything
on
else.
weekends, he can't do anything else.
He did actually comment on this. I found one interview to why he does this. And he actually said the reason for it is because he got sick of most of the films he saw where there was one guy and 8 dudes and all. Sorry, that doesn't sound right. There was one guy and 8 girls, let's put it that way. And all the girls were mostly sexual in that. Let's put it that way.
Especially in horror movies,
films and
yeah,
stuff.
it happens.
Yeah.
So I feel like I get where he's going. Like, instead of what I'm trying to think of, like Nightmare on Elm Street, Tina is murdered. She's in her underwear, but she has got. I think she's still got her like little shirt on still, and you get all of that thing where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, does she need to be naked? So I guess I can see why he's like, well, why can't the guys be naked? So I get what he's trying to do, but I feel like he's, without having seen them, not managing it.
He said it's a horror movie for girls. As a matter of fact, it's the first horror movie for girls, as he put in one of his films.
No.
What? Because it's just semi-naked dudes.
Apparently.
Okay. I don't get offended easily.
Okay.
And I will, I'm the kind of girl that he's probably talking about. As we were talking about off air, I am part of the guys' Formula One fantasy league, and I picked all of my drivers on how attractive I found them because I know nothing about F1.
And she did absolutely terrible.
Suck. It's not good. Yeah. I'm losing. But I don't want to say the word offended, but I'm not happy about that.
It's a lot of generalization, isn't it?
Yeah, like if it's got a good story, then fine. But it sounds like he's like, oh, I'll make it. If I put naked men in it, women will like it. But then if it's not a horror movie,
well, let me tell you the rest of the plot for Haunted Frat. So there's the guy walks around 30 minutes, then he wakes up from his dream, then he goes to his other friend who's also in the room next to him, who's also half naked with glasses this time now, reading a book, and he says, "I had a bad dream," and the other guy goes, "Okay, did you know?" This is the exact dialogue. "Okay, do you know that this house was built on ancient burial grounds 300 years ago?"
Of
course it was. It always is.
Yeah.
It always is.
In the most blankest expression ever. And then he's kind of like, yeah, whatever. This place is not haunted. I'm going to take a shower. By the way, every one of these 1313 films features a man in a shower slowly bathing himself as the camera pans. Then the story kicks in to Haunted Frat House, and apparently there's this kind of, I'm not going to say young girl, I'm going to say she's in the kind of cougar territory.
Okay.
Well, that's the opposite of a young girl.
Yeah, and she's kind of following the boys around the house, but she's a spooky ghost, guys, from 300 years ago. And all she does for the next 45 minutes of the film is they're like at the gym part of the house, so they're swimming or they're sunbathing or they're doing whatever. And all she's doing is like touching their bellies or their heads, and then they go into like a bad mental state. And then the film ends with one of the guys going, "I'm sure there's a ghost in here." He walks out the door and the film ends.
I'm just so confused because I kind of...
And you thought Neil Breen was bad. You thought Neil Breen.
Neil Breen is bad.
I kind of feel like I get what he's trying to do, but also...
You can see why he's made so many of these in such quick succession.
Because there's nothing in them.
They all have these titles where you're like, wow, what the fuck? Like, there's Hercules, 1313 Hercules, 1313 Frankenqueen, 1313 Bermuda Triangle, 1313 Cougar Cult, where he literally gets 4 old women to be cougars to a bunch of guys. And that's the film. Like, it's so... Bigfoot Island, 1313 Bigfoot.
So it is, Paul.
It sounds like he's trying to make like films that are accessible for women and aren't like overwhelmingly macho or whatever. But I think a lot of people would just prefer a good story as opposed to some dude getting his shaft out, you know?
But they are...
It's a bit like, do you not want a story in your movie and no story in your porn? And he's got them the wrong way around.
They're don't see them as a serious thing. With the later film, don't see it as a serious thing. It's more of a case of, I think he knows what he's doing, but
I don't think he knows
I think he knows. Well, the 1313 series has become a popular thing around the world.
But the same can be said about Neil Breen, and that is fucking wank.
Yeah, so like Neil Breen is different.
So this is my question. In terms of, like, we know the fucking acting is wank, and we know the storylines are shit. In terms of like general direction and placement and stuff and pacing, how is that?
Terrible.
Then what is his fucking problem? Why is he bothering to do this shit? Why am I so annoyed about it?
Why not? He's living his dream. He's got a big mansion. He's made a lot of money from doing all these films.
He shouldn't have.
He also made kids' films before this.
Christ.
Any we would have vaguely heard of?
Do you remember the film A Talking Cat?
No.
You guys don't remember? Again, it's one of the famous ones on the internet. I know you guys haven't been on the internet for a while, but...
Too busy working in at festivals, I think.
A Talking Cat, I've seen it. I've watched the whole thing. And this one does have more of a storyline. This one is more in the Neil Breen-esque, and I actually think this is more watchable but it is, like, terrible. But it's about a cat that magically talks one day, and it's, like, a bunch of neighbors involved and stuff. But the way the cat talks is something extraordinary, and when you see it, you can't help but go, oh no. Like, it's something I can't really describe it, but you know, like in most like talking animal films, like it's real footage, so it's not like animated. Instead of having like the lips of the cat move, if that's the right, or the mouth of the cat move to make it like animate or CGI, instead they just put like a black cartoon hole that moves.
Like a little South Park paper mouth.
Yeah, and the cat's voice is just not, it doesn't work at all. It just is so fucking stupid. So many films, and so many of them are like this, and I just found it fascinating that he has the consistency, because it's had 103 films since the 80s. He's been going around for a while, and he's still to this day making stuff.
I was going to say, I've cheated and I've looked him up a bit on IMDb. Is he doing like a wrong series? The wrong student, the wrong crush, the wrong man, the wrong friend, the wrong cruise, the wrong teacher, the wrong stepmother, the wrong boy next door, the wrong mummy, the wrong tutor, the wrong cheerleader, back in action. Don't know if that's a sequel. The wrong house sitter, the wrong wedding planner, the wrong stepfather, the wrong cheerleader coach, the wrong real estate agent, the wrong fiance, the wrong Mr. Right, the wrong Prince Charming, the wrong Valentine. And he's left. And I don't even think I started from the beginning. I just started from wherever I was.
As a public announcement, I think for most of the internet who do enjoy these 1313 films, and I guess I stumbled upon it not knowing what it was, then realized what it was, and then kind of thought, okay, the trope is men in underwear, and okay, but let's see if they could have a bit of a storyline to it. Not really. The only one I can recommend is probably the giant bee one, because it has some difference about most of them are to do with just man and woman or something. The giant bee one has a bit of like CGI and stuff, but I can't really say any more than that. But I just found his life quite interesting, and just the amount of films he managed to pump out and stuff. And a lot of these films were shot in 3 days. And
you were going to say in 3D then, and then I don't know if I was excited or panicked.
Fucking, how's that going to work?
Who knows?
What are they doing? Flexing a peck at the screen.
Also, Andy, did you leave to get booze? Has it come to
I did, yeah. Yeah, I went to get a big bottle of Jack Daniels, yeah. Oof. I don't even drink Jack Daniels. That's how bad it is.
That was my journey into David and his 1313 series. I do recommend people to at least check one of the films out. If you check one of the films out, they're all on YouTube pretty much. If you check one of them out, you'll know the rest. You just need to watch one, and then you'll know what the rest are kind of like. So yeah, join me next week when I embarrass myself, probably. Find out what that is.
Dan's doing something sneaky.
You're the new guy, huh?
I guess I am. You're working with a bunch of grad students fresh out of the classroom.
You seem to have some serious doubts about our research team.
I just think you guys need some proper motivation.
See, the hive's dying out. Same thing that's happening here. It's happening everywhere.
Well, that's what we're here to fix. I need results by next week, Lewis. I don't need a hive of super bees. I just need some positive results.
Give the bees the additive. Let Lewis think that he's feeding them his latest batch of HKP4. And for now, I want this to be completely top secret.
So I watched a new film that came out this year. It's due to come out last year, got delayed for various reasons. And it is the Bob Odenkirk film Nobody.
I literally watched this yesterday.
Oh, now I'm the only one that hasn't seen it.
What was your thoughts, Dan?
It's like a really funny John Wick. I really like it.
Yeah, it's like a cross between John Wick and Taken, but it's absolutely hilarious. It's about a dude who has like a mysterious past. He's got a family. He lives like a boring 9-to-5 life in a nuclear family that he just wants to stick with, and something causes him to snap, and he ends up essentially taking on the Russian mob.
As you do.
Like John Wick did.
Like John Wick, it's always the Russian mob.
So it's the Russian mob every fucking time.
But it is fantastic. Like, it's got Christopher Lloyd, who was looking old. I mean, I know he's like 82.
He's old.
Yeah.
But he was looking old. The Rizzers in it. Colin Salmon. I won't spoil it because it's worth watching because it is ridiculous. But definitely try and give that a look if you can find it. The other film I watched... Now, as of time of recording, we are midway through the Euros, and I thought I would watch an...
Boo, England. Oh, you're out of the Euros now, aren't you? I forgot.
I want to say I'm offended, but England are in the last 16. And
Let's go, Ireland.
I just haven't watched any of the Euros at all, so...
Yay, sport.
Can't believe Scotland won the Euros.
No.
They've already been eliminated.
Oh, shit. That's how much I watch football.
So I watched one of the greatest football films of all time, soccer films of all time. Does anyone want to guess what it is?
Green Room.
Is it Goal?
Green Room.
Did you watch Goal?
That is a very, very good guess, but no.
Oh, wait, give me one more. Fuck, I've seen a lot of them.
Bend It Like Beckham.
What year?
Oh, another good guess, but no. You wanted the year? 2005.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me.
Whilst you're thinking, I'm going to pour my drink.
2005. So that would have been...
That sounds like you're pouring a Jack Daniels, but it's a weird looking 7-Up you've got there.
To our listeners, this is AMSR, Andy at the bar. Hello, sir. Can I get you a drink?
Creepiest bartender. Football movies. Is it Green Room? Is that what I'm thinking of? The one with Charlie Hunnam in it, and he does a terrible accent.
Green Machine.
Green Machine.
What's it called?
Mean Machine.
Green Street.
Green Street.
Mean Machine.
Green Room's a horror movie.
Mean Machine.
So obviously that's
Mean
why
Machine.
It's neither of those. It's the 2005 film Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell he's a dude called Phil. He's like a bad athlete. He has been his whole life. He owns some vitamin store, and his dad is Robert Duvall, who is a great athlete and has a load of sports shops and runs like a pee-wee soccer team, coaches a pee-wee soccer team. And he kicks his grandson, Will Ferrell's son, Sam, off the team.
Boo.
And then trades him to someone else. And Will Ferrell's like, fuck this prick. I want him playing. So he takes over this team called the Tigers. And then hires Mike Ditka to be his assistant. Like, it's weirdly wholesome at points, but also he is a dickhead. He gets addicted to coffee and then takes it out on other people. And you just see him like
Addicted to
landslide.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but like, I mean,
100%.
like,
That's,
I know
that's why I had to cancel recording a couple of weeks ago.
That's
I
true.
realised
Yeah.
I hadn't
Don't
had
you
coffee
remember?
for 24 hours. And
I mean, I know
killed me.
people are, but like to where I was going to say to where it's a problem, but yeah, Andy did have to cancel, so I take it back.
So he gets some like Italian kids in on the team.
As you do.
And because they're Italian.
Ship them in from
Italians.
Italy.
No,
Just
there's
ship
like
them
an
in, yeah.
Italian butcher's that he goes to. And they say meat is
Sells
everything, or
Children.
nothing is more important than meat. So
I
like,
don't know if that's just too stereotyped or not, but...
oh no, it 100% is. Like, these
Okay.
kids can play, they're Italian, so they play and they are better than everyone else because they're Italian. And it's all a lesson of like, be a team, be yourself, don't try and push other people to be something they're not.
I can see you took it on board.
If you're playing a team sport, play a team sport. Give it to everyone.
Andy's the best
It was
team
alright.
player I know.
Yeah, definitely.
actually
He's always rooting for us.
I wasn't being sarcastic. You are.
I wasn't. I'm being honest here. You know me. They call me Honest Dan. They called Andy great teamwork, and they call Penn she's there. She's there.
Petty Bennett.
She's also there.
Petty Bennett.
So yeah, kicking and screaming. I'm kind of done with it, to be honest. I just want my Jack Daniels and mojito now. That's it.
Is that it?
Legitimately, yeah. Let's get on. We've got Honest Dan. Let's move on to Honest Abe, shall we?
Talk to you about Sam. He has been playing a lot lately, and
Ooh, hold it right there. I agree with you. And I got some great news.
great.
I traded him to the Tigers.
You traded your own grandson? I know he's the most competitive man in the world, but this beats them all. I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about.
Oh, he's so good at segues. He's the segue man. The segue master, if you will.
I wouldn't go that far, Penn.
He is, because you haven't heard my attempts at segues that get cut out of the Punktastic fuck. Well, some of them you have. They're not
I told you don't promote that shit on here. Never again. I told you. We had this discussion off air. Do not promote that shit.
That's why we did it when you weren't here.
I'm serious. 2012 film Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was Andy's film of choice. It is starring Benjamin Walker as, yes, Abraham fucking Lincoln, because that's the kind of fucking film this is, where it's just off the rails. Why don't we have an ex-fucking president as a vampire hunter and redo history? Because, yeah. You want to know my theory before we just go into this a little bit? If they didn't name this, just blue sky this a little bit. If they didn't name this Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, it just called it Some Guy Vampire Hunter, do you think people would have seen it?
No, I feel like most people went to see it because it was Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like it's got like a slight...
Well, I learned today it was
cheap.
based on a book, because it's one of Chris's favourite books.
That's true.
And he said the movie
But that's why
was
it's,
shit.
that's why it's genius marketing. If they'd gone, you know, John
Wick.
Feldstein, no one's going to fucking... no one's going to be interested in that, are they? But Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? Yes, please.
When you did bring it up, I never seen it before, but when it did come out of the hat, I was like, I'm kind of intrigued to see how this goes. Like, what the fuck is this kind of story? Like, what is it? Like, is it a mess? Is it serious? What is it? But we'll go.
It's serious, right?
Yeah, it's deadly serious. It's a documentary.
Shut the fuck up.
The tone, because I know it was silly, but the tone, I was like, oh, they're taking this seriously, but the tone didn't feel serious. But
It's
I don't know.
massively silly. It's massively silly. Benjamin Walker, Donna Cooper, Ramona, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Rufus Sewell,
Anthony Mackie.
there's a couple of people now.
Mackie!
We start this story with Abe as a young boy in 1818. He lives in Indiana with his parents, Nancy and Thomas, and they work at a plantation owned by Jack Bartz. Now, Jack Bartz is a bit of a cunt because he's a racist, and he likes beating up, basically, on this scene, a young African-American boy, William Johnson. The Abraham basically intervenes because he's beating him up.
Oh, Benjamin Stark, isn't it? It's his Abraham
Yes.
Lincoln's dad. He's played by the man who plays Benjamin Stark. I don't know his name.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't know who that is.
Game of Thrones. And because of his son's actions intervening from getting William from beaten up by this Jack Bartz guy, Thomas is fired from his job. And that night, Lincoln sees Bart break into his house and attack his mother, Nancy. She ends up falling ill the following day, dies shortly afterwards, and Thomas tells Lincoln that Bart's poisoned Nancy.
My first note about Bart was just, who's this steampunk douchebag?
That's what I thought. Everyone is very steampunk.
yeah.
With the glasses and everything.
Yeah.
Like later
Yeah.
on, it's like
I also had-
very steampunky.
I was also confused about some of the vampire lore. Because
They're all outside in the daytime, aren't they?
well, that
Yeah.
annoyed me. But I checked with Chris. Apparently, in the book, it's more of a thing. Just the longer they're around as vampires, it just doesn't hurt them as much, and they just adjust, which is bullshit in my opinion.
Evolution-wise, you
Well,
mean?
just like they're like, oh, the longer they're out in the sun, the longer it doesn't hurt them. anymore because they just get used to it. The vampires bite people and drink them and they die. Or they bite you and you die later. Or they bite you and they turn you into a vampire. They didn't seem to differentiate between the things which
goes on in later on when another character comes in. It's like, wait, you've been bitten. Why are you still here?
For a film about a vampire hunter, I would have liked the lore to have been slightly better. Although I did really like the vampire makeup.
Lincoln's mother dies. 9 years later, Lincoln decides to get revenge on him. He attacks Bart at the docks, but Bart, who is actually a vampire, overpowers him. However, before Bart can kill him, Lincoln is rescued by our new character, Henry Sturgis, played by Dominic Cooper, who is the cool Matrix-looking dude.
I love Dominic Cooper.
Yeah.
This film is so Matrixy. It is unbelievable. Like, especially at this part where he comes in, tries to save Abe, and is like slow motion. It's like
so much slow-mo.
It's like a Zack Snyder film. I thought this was directed by Zack Snyder while I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, how much slow motion do you need?
It was
seriously
directed by the dude who did Wanted.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I really like Wanted. Like, I genuinely love it.
I do like Wanted, yeah. But this film is something else. This fight is like I know they're both vampires, but it's like everything's flying all over the place. I think they push each other in the shed. There's fucking debris everywhere. Yeah. They're flying up. It's just mental. It's fucking mental, the fight scenes in this thing. Yeah. It's just so over the top.
Looks good though, doesn't it?
It does look good. I will give a point. It's kind of good. Like the thing I probably enjoyed the most out of the film was the fight scenes, because they were kind of cool and over the top, overblown, but they were still fun to watch in a way.
I think it's important to note that when we first meet Dominic Cooper, he says to Abe, a man only gets that drunk when he's trying to ask out a girl or kill a man.
He wants to kiss a girl or kill a man. Which one are you?
And he pats him on the back and then a gun falls out of his belt.
Because he was going to kill a man, not kiss a girl.
Exactly. Or maybe both. Kiss a man and kill a girl.
Oh, that makes the ending more... Okay, now I get the ending a bit more. I completely forgot.
Oh, you did a me. I got it this time.
Yeah.
Bless you.
It's fine.
Now I know how you feel when I do it.
Henry Sturgis explains that vampires exist to Abe, and he offers to teach Lincoln how to become a vampire hunter because revenge story. But he can't take revenge because he has to do a couple of jobs for Henry first. Because revenge is bad. Bad revenge. No revenge. Bad. Stop it. So during his training, Sturgis tells Lincoln that vampires in America descend from Adam, a vampire who owns a plantation in New Orleans with his sister, Vadoma. Is that her name? Vadoma. Can't pronounce it.
Probably.
Sturgis also tells Lincoln of a vampire's weakness, which is silver, and presents him with a silver pocket watch. So... if we're going on the vampire lore, so these guys stay out in the daylight. If you shoot them in the head, they don't die, but they sometimes do die. But you can't stab. It's not a stab in the heart situation with these guys either.
But also, if you just fire some sort of silver projectile at them and it gets in their body, it will kill them because they're apparently also werewolves. Because silver is...
Well, that's what I don't understand. Like, I thought it was werewolves that got done in by silver and not vampires.
It is.
Unless they're shooting like silver skin garlic.
No, because spoilers, near the end she uses a fucking necklace, didn't she?
No, I know.
Yeah, no.
I was just trying to make a joke.
Sorry.
Good one. I really wish it was the kind of film that like they would have garlic bread involved somehow. Like it's the kind of film that I'd be okay with if he just threw a garlic bread baguette at one of these vampires and they died. It's that kind of film that I would be okay with.
Yeah, particularly if Mary Elizabeth Winstead said bread makes you fat.
Sure. Why not have a reference to Scotty?
Can we just talk a little bit about that? I know we were just doing it. The Dominic Cooper is like in them fighting his training montage, how he's like, you can't do anything until you cut through this entire tree in one go.
In a single blow.
And I've just written...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I've written, there's no way he can chop that in one go, and then the next note just says, "Oh, fuck off," because
He's Abe
he
Lincoln.
does it. He's like, pretend that it's like, what are you most mad at? And he's like, I'm really mad at Bart's, and he hits the tree and he just like whacks it, and he's like, no, what are you really mad at? And then eventually he just fucking annihilates this tree in one go. It's just
I'm really.
Yeah.
That's the thing
he
about
says,
it.
he says, it's not hate that gives you the power, it's the truth. And that's why he's Honest Abe, because he always tells the truth, and that's why he's so powerful.
Yeah, but I don't mind having alternate kind of history thing. The thing about it with Abe being the way he is fine. Like him being a vampire hunter, fine. Okay, whatever, I'm over it. But now he's some sort of fucking
superhuman
superhero.
because he tells
all
the
of
truth.
a sudden.
But he doesn't tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because he lied to his fucking wife for years.
He lied to him. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't tell her he was a vampire hunter.
Yes, he did.
Why? Because she's mad. Because she's mad that he lied to her for all those years. I was kind of
No.
To be fair.
He tells her at a picnic on their first date.
Yeah, that bit. But then why is she mad at him for lying to? He was like, "I'm sorry, I lied to you for all these years."
No. This is the weird thing. He tells her, and she's kind of like shrugs it off and goes, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah.
And that to me was like, are we just?
I
is
mean,
that
in
just the
fairness,
thing?
I also would think he was talking bollocks.
Yeah, I just thought she assumed
But then he
was
walks around
kidding.
with a massive axe all the time, so I'd be like, maybe he is.
No, I thought she just thought he was kidding and being like funny on their date.
Can we talk about the axe skills as well? Good God. Genuinely impressive. The way he's whizzing that around his legs and like through his arms.
It's all style though.
It is all style. He did it himself though.
Did he?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed some of the transitions in this film. So there's one point where he's like swinging his axe around like some nunchucks, but there's like swooshy lines that go with it. And then the swooshy lines turn into the ink of the pen that he's using to write a letter with to Henry. And then
I thought that bit was particularly wank, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, and there was a bit later on.
It wasn't done.
It wasn't
really
particularly
good.
seamless, was it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, because I was a bit like, why are there swooshy lines from his axe? But then later on...
Oh, he's writing a letter.
Yeah. And then later on, isn't it Adam's like a painting. He's talking about history and it's all like an old painting, but then it melds into the scene.
It melds into
So I kind of like it's very, like you said, very stylized, this movie, which was possibly the only bit I really enjoyed.
So, in Springfield, Lincoln befriends a shopkeeper called Joshua Speed. He ends up giving him a job, pretty much, by the end of the day. And he meets Mary Todd, who... I'm going to call him out, Abe, and say he pretty much cucks the husband of Mary
100%.
Yeah.
Straight in there. He's straight in there, Abe. Really? Like, seriously.
I can't remember who the husband was.
Played by Alan
I don't know.
Tudyk, who I only really
Of course
like
it was.
one thing, I think. I find him very hit and miss. He's very close to me not liking him, like I don't like Nathan Fillion.
The thing I find fascinating about the whole Mary Todd thing is, like, Joshua and Abe just openly diss the husband of, like, they're like, oh, she could be with someone a lot better if you know what I mean, like, straight away. And I'm like,
He's a bit of a prick. He's racist, isn't he? He's a racist.
I know, but like, it's so before you even talk to the guy, like, it's like, it's
But doesn't
oh,
Speed
fuck him,
say
he's an asshole.
that you could save her from a life of boredom or something because they know he's a dude?
Yeah, life of boredom.
Yeah.
Like, because you're an interesting guy, Abe. You work in a shop and with me.
Hunt
and
vampires.
You hunt. Well, he doesn't know that yet.
No, this
does
is
he?
true.
No, he doesn't.
That's the thing.
No.
So he's just a basic shopkeep guy. So
Yeah, but also it's Jimmy Simpson, and you gotta respect him for that. Just for
why
being
do I have
Jimmy
to
Simpson.
respect him for that?
He's Jimmy Simpson.
I like the guy, but why do I have to respect him for that?
Because he was a cowboy, he was in a spaceship in Black Mirror. He's also in an
Just
Irish
'cause
bar
other
sometimes.
roles. Great. Okay, thank you. So essentially, we go through a couple of scenes where Abe is slowly cucking us, and they have a little dance. Husband is kind of jealous of them having a little dance, making a little love, get down tonight. He essentially ends up dropping her off at her house.
At her own house where her fiance lives.
Where her own fiance is at the moment. And he remembers in the back of his head, Henry told him, where you can't have friends, family, loved ones with you while you're doing this, vampire hunting thing, because they'll be affected by it. And he just gives her a little peck on the cheek and then goes, okay, good night, bye. And he left her there. That's the best thing I could do.
Just walk away.
Was to leave. Walk away, yes. So he walks away, but you'll see her soon, don't worry.
Yeah, it didn't last very long.
It didn't last long at all.
His penis was like,
5
no,
minutes, wasn't it?
can't leave her. Which is fair.
His penis has a character arc in the story.
And really good with an axe.
Really? Sure.
Wound.
Oh,
Andy.
Sorry, I felt grubby. That wasn't good.
Fucking hell. That was terrible. Anyway, Lincoln successfully finds and defeats Bart. Now, this scene, I sent a voicemail to fucking you two where this is the horse scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is going on with the horse scene?
It's one of the greatest scenes of all time.
Okay, so he finds Bart in like a stable and he chases after him and there's all these horses next to Bart and then they just run with the horses. And then we get this very obvious CGI horses scene where they're running in between horses and they're jumping on them, leaping on from horse to horse with this like epic music playing in the background. It's going, bah, da, da, da. It's like the fucking Avengers theme playing in the background.
first I was like, they would get trampled by those horses because
Immediately,
they would.
yes.
But also, I was really proud of myself for this one. I was like, they're running across the backs of those horses like a fucking OK Go video.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a game of Frogger.
It is.
It reminded me of that specific OK Go video where they're on with the treadmills.
The escalators.
Yeah.
At one point, I think it's Bart, he grabs one of the fucking horses by the legs and swings it around and throws it at Abe. A giant fucking horse.
Yeah, but he's a vampire.
What? So he has superhuman strength now? Is that a thing that vampires have now that I didn't know?
Well, yeah,
This is a
because
new kind of
we
vampire.
saw Henry Sturgis throw him into the air through a
Yeah, we
barn.
did.
It's a horse. It's a horse.
I mean, I agree, but they have quite obviously got enhanced.
While
Like
running.
you see in a montage earlier when he's trying to catch them.
Yeah, he throws
like
him
earlier
up the-
vampires that
yeah.
they throw him all over the place. They're all strong. Some of them go invisible. You know.
Well, that was.
Look, I'll be honest.
We skipped a
It made me
vampire that
laugh.
he murdered before the horse scene, which doesn't really matter, before Anthony Mackie shows up. But he killed. I think it might be his first vampire that he kills. He gets vampire blood all in his mouth and stuff. I'm like, are you not a vampire now? Is that not a thing? I feel like whoever did this movie knew more about Abraham Lincoln than they did about vampires. They needed like a vampire.
Consultant.
Yes, a vampire consultant on set.
What is the kind of predetermined lore with vampires if they bite another vampire? What happens
can't- they
then?
don't.
I think
bite other
generally they
vampires.
can't or they don't.
They don't.
I've never heard
Accidentally.
I've never heard that vampires can't kill other vampires.
I guess so. It's like gone off milk, right? So it's like out of date.
Yeah.
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 Okay, fine.
Yeah, they want the fresh blood, so they want one with a beating
Well-
heart. And generally, because they're dead, the hearts don't beat. So it's
Well, it's
old.
like Andy's
yeah.
favourite film interview with the vampire. Kirsten Dunst she brings 2 kids to Tom Cruise and says she drugged them, or they're drunk, and he drinks from them, but it turns out they're dead, and she just used the drug to keep their blood warm, and he's like, it's dead blood, and he goes all like melty, so
Yeah.
they wouldn't want vampire blood.
So Lincoln defeats Bart in a horse racing Frogger leaping. I don't know what you call it, but it made me laugh so much. Anyway, before dying, Bart reveals that Sturgis is also a vampire.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh no. So why does he want to go after the vampires? Who knows? So Lincoln confronts Sturgis. He's kind of in a alley, kind of biting the neck of a guy who's kind of getting freaky with a woman who's like doesn't want it. And he ends up biting the neck of him.
I think you'll find the correct term is probably rapist.
Yeah, okay, fine. Rapist. Lincoln confronts Sturgis, who reveals that several years ago, he was attacked and bitten by Adam, who's the big evil vampire in this story. And because Sturgis' soul was impure, he didn't become a vampire, but his wife or whatever got killed in front of him. He just kind of watched. I don't get that.
Oh, was
No,
that
Why
a
is
thing?
he impure?
He is now a vampire. That's why he can't kill Adam. But
Yeah.
because his soul was impure, he didn't drain the blood. He just
What does
turned him
that
into
mean?
a vampire.
What does that mean?
What do you-
He's
what do you-
impure.
Well, I don't know.
That's stupid.
Oh, I'm asking you because it's your film.
No,
I've got
that
no one
doesn't-
else here to ask.
Well, I
I-
didn't fucking write it. I haven't read the book. That's all they said. Her heart was... I assume because he was trying to kick the fuck out of him, he obviously had some sort of a shady past. So the chances are he was impure anyway and had done a sin.
So now, if you have a bad or a sinful past, you can't die from vampire. Like, it makes no sense.
No. I think it's a case of they wanted fresh, pure blood.
Yeah, maybe it's tastier when it's pure.
To drink, because he was already an arsehole, and because he wanted to get Adam.
Yeah, right.
The easiest thing for Adam to do was to turn him so he can't get to him, because you can't kill your own kind.
I suppose that's the whole vengeance thing, isn't it? That makes sense, because like he killed his wife because she was pure and tasty, but he's like, but if I turn you, you can't fucking.
Yeah, you
kill
have
me.
to live with it for the rest of your days. See, there's layers to this film. There's layers.
This just made up incorrect vampire law. It's not layers.
It's very incorrect. Sturgis has since been training vampire hunters, and he hopes to destroy Adam one day, even though he can't kill him because, as he said, vampires can't kill vampires. Lincoln decides to abandon his mission of becoming a vampire hunter. Now, this was like the whole thing with this film that I was like, it was like watching two films in one.
Yes.
You had the vampire hunter thing, and then you start getting into the political love side of things, and it's like, it's too serious and quiet in one, and then the other one is so over the top that I just couldn't take.
And I found
both
it
of them together.
Too many themes. Because obviously
Yes,
he starts,
yeah,
you know, when he's becoming a vampire hunter, you're like, well, eventually he's going to become president. So how do they do
That's
that?
the thing. They have to tell that
But it
story,
wasn't even
don't
really
they?
a story.
So-
They just went, oh, he decided not to hunt vampires anymore. And now he's going to be the president.
Well-
And I was like, oh, is that it? He just fancied to change your career?
Sturgis tells him to always have a contingency plan, and his contingency plan is politics.
Yeah.
And thus, he follows his backup plan to go into politics, and then you see in short clips how he gets to the top.
Yeah, it was just...
That's it.
It did still just feel like, oh, well, vampire hunting's not going to be my job, so I'll just be the president.
He probably doesn't get paid to be a vampire hunter.
Well,
you know
no,
what I mean?
true. It was too much. It was like vampires and slaves and him being the president and the politics and then the vengeance and then the civil war. And it was
Which
too
we'll get to.
it was too many things to try and weave together, and I don't think they were woven very well.
So Adam learns of Lincoln's activities. He kidnaps his old friend from the start of the film. He was getting beaten up by Bart,
Mackie!
Yay.
who ends up meeting Lincoln years later at the shop, but they get put into a trap. Adam captures Lincoln, tries to recruit him, revealing his plans to turn the United States into a nation of the undead.
See, I never understand why vampires want to do this, because if everybody's dead, then you've got no one to eat. It's a stupid plan.
I agree with you. Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, stupid.
Because so the political part of this, please correct me if I am wrong, and the point of the Civil War that we will get to is that Abraham Lincoln wanted to get rid of slaves because obviously, but vampires don't want to get rid of slaves because they've got free people to eat. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered
so then
from
why
it.
would you then want to turn everyone into vampires? Because then you've got no one to eat.
I know, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Speed recruits his friends, and they end up escaping to Idaho.
That power slide he does with a horse-drawn carriage is
Oh my God.
unbelievable.
And the fact that fucking, like, I don't like what the fuck's his name? The bad vampire.
Adam.
Oh, I keep forgetting. Adam. When he does his, like, I'm going to cut your friend in 1,
Yeah, 5,
2,
4, 3,
3.
2.
He says 3, and I swear there's like a second gap to 4 that happens, and then fucking Speed bursts in with the fucking carriage, and then fucking power slides into him. But he even reveals his plans. He's like he's one of these just shit villains again, where he's just like,
Yeah,
come
but
on, dude.
people just want to talk about stuff, don't they? I mean, we saw that in Nobody.
I know.
But nobody listens, and that's the problem.
Okay, so Lincoln marries Mary, because of course, begins his political career campaigning to abolish slavery. We basically see a few speeches and then he kind of becomes president, is how this goes a little bit. It kind of fast forward.
I do like how just the transition to Abraham Lincoln with a beard and a hat happened.
I love that walk-in when he has the hat on for the first. Oh, it's so badass.
Like,
it is actually quite badass.
I mean, I was paying attention. I wasn't paying that much attention. So it did just feel like he was like, right, I'm Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter, and I've got like a normal haircut and I've got no beard and I look kind of cool. And then now I'm president, so I've grown a really big beard and worn a city hat because that's what
he has the hat on the whole time.
Does he?
He just has more of a beard.
He has the hat on the whole time because
the big hat.
Yeah, because Mary stands on it to give him a snog, and he's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah. Huh.
He has it on literally the whole film.
I didn't.
But he's fully evolved now.
Yeah, he's
full Abraham. He's level 3 now. Yeah,
it's like when you see Spider-Man for the first time and he's in his new suit. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
his
made me
DPS
laugh.
is quite high. Anyway, Sturgis warns Lincoln that the slave trade keeps vampires under control, as vampires use slaves for food, and as Penny pointed out, what happens if they run out of slaves?
Vampires always want to do that. It makes no sense.
Yeah. And if Lincoln interferes, the vampires will retaliate. After Lincoln's election as president of the United States of America, he moves to the White House with Mary, which they have a son, William Wallace Lincoln. He eventually signs the proclamation, I can't pronounce that word, setting the American Civil War in motion. I can't pronounce it. I'm not even going to try because I'm terrible at big words. Setting the American Civil War in motion, which obviously is the North and South, which did play out, but this time
the Emancipation Proclamation. Sorry.
Thank you.
It was bugging me.
This time the South had fucking vampires, because the South have recruited vampires to fight against the Union, and that's the thing.
Because they were mostly in, that was their whole thing of, because the Civil War was against the South, because doesn't Henry say, like, that's why you can't do this, Abe, because all the vampires are in the South. So he's like, so the only reason they've been like good vampires is because they've got all the slaves that they want. So if you take away the slaves, they will then spread to the rest of America.
Yeah,
but it makes no sense why the South will want to help out the vampires if they want to take over the world. What the fuck are they doing?
I guess
like,
because the percentage is there's more vampires in the South than there are anywhere else, because that's where Adam was and he was making them. Yeah, because they love the fucking sun.
The guy
and the heat.
They made a deal with the vampires, like, yeah, sure, we'll help you out. I'm sat there thinking, they'll just eat you. Why are you...
I just assumed that most of them were vampires.
Valdoma ends up sneaking into the lady vampire, the bad lady vampire. She ends up sneaking into the White House easily and ends up biting William the child while he's playing. We don't see that. And he dies. So his character arc was short and sweet, I guess.
He died like Abe's mum.
Yeah, exactly the same way.
Now revenge is even more for Abe. He's going to become Super Abe. Something, I don't know.
Just keep thinking of that little alien Abe from those computer games when you say it. I don't know why. It's because you're a gamer.
Meep, meep, meep.
I've got no idea what's going on.
He looks like Earthworm Jim, but he's green.
Hi. Hello.
Now who's the filthy casual, Andy? Yeah, I know stuff. And he looks so confused.
Well, I just don't know what's fucking going on. He's just making noises.
Well, where's Abe from?
Abe's Odyssey.
Oh yeah, Abe's Odyssey. It's a computer game.
You know Abe.
He looks like Earthworm Jim, but he's green.
How many times can I keep going? Abe?
I don't know, but at some point someone's going to turn the episode off.
All right.
Number 20, and then Andy will go, oh yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, shit, we got our MSR listeners. We're still going, guys. Confederate
Hi,
President
Lindsay.
So, vampires are deployed to the front lines, and Lincoln orders the confiscation of all silverware in the area to have it melted down, and he discovers that that's the solution when he's at the dinner table and he's talking about a fork, and he looks at the fork and he goes, a fork!
Yeah, we need these! And Speed is like, what, forks?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about, Greg?
Want a fucking fork? What the fuck's wrong?
You got a fork, it's in your hand, Abe.
Mr. President, what the fuck are you talking about? So, yeah, the key to the whole thing was silverware, which I kind of saw from a mile. I mean, we got told it earlier on. I was thinking, why didn't you just get the silver
I guess,
and kill them all? So.
Did it take them a little while to work out that the people they were fighting in the Civil War were vampires?
It took him... He was a president. All that time for him to become president, and it's just like, now we must kill them. But he only discovers how to kill them while he sat at the fucking dinner table looking at his fork. And then going, oh yeah, silverware. Oh, I forgot. I'm like, really? We get a bunch of scenes with war and vampires attacking, and they're winning the war. But this plan has come into place where Abe is going to put some silverware on some train and transfer it to the front lines.
It sounds extra silly when you say it.
I mean,
like it makes sense in the movie, but you saying they put a bunch of forks on a train.
They
which is all they do.
That's the plan. Wrong. Yes. So
Speed tells the vampires the plan. He's like, fuck this, I don't want to be involved anymore.
I've written, I always knew Speed was a racist, but then I was incorrect later on.
On the train, Adam and Vadoma attack Lincoln, Sturgis, and Johnson, who have set fire to the upcoming kind of bridge that is heading where this train is heading for, essentially, with all this silverware. This bridge is on fire. They're about to go over it, but the silverware is in this train, and the vampires have all descended on this train to stop Lincoln and the boys from moving it forward, I guess. Boys. During the fight, in which Speed is killed, Adam learns that the train only holds rocks. There's no silverware here. Why the fuck is there rocks?
Did we like the way that Abe and Anthony Mackie threw their axe at each other like it was Captain America and Winter Soldier? Penn, specifically?
I didn't notice.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Sorry.
Lincoln reveals that Speed's betrayal was only a ruse to lure Adam into a trap, and Lincoln uses his watch to stab Adam. It's more of a fucking super punch.
Mortal Kombat's him, doesn't he?
It's like fucking One Punch Man kind of fucking style.
Goes straight through him, doesn't it? Also, that watch goes missing for a while, and then it turns up in the kid's room, which means that the vampires must have had touched it to put it there. So how come they can hold it then, but when they get punched in the stomach?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense.
Gloves.
That's the only issue with this film. Apart from that, everything else is factually realistic.
The only fucking plot hole is that.
Yeah, everything else is realistic and set in modern day, but that's the only issue.
In modern day of the Civil War?
Yeah, well, it does later, but let's get to it. Okay, so Lincoln uses the watch to power punch Adam superpowerly, killing him, and the three escape the train before it basically plunges into the ground below as the bridge is burning and they're hopping over the fucking train carriages, and oh my god, it's over the top.
It looks great.
So, it does look good. I'll give him that. It looks good. Some of the effects look good. Some of them don't, but some of them do. Meanwhile, Mary and the ex-slaves have transported the silverware to Gettysburg through the Underground Railroad as they start to arm themselves with silverware and silver bullets and putting stuff into fucking guns and stuff. They end up killing a bunch of vampires. The Union soldiers destroy the vampires and win the war. A few months later, on April 14th, 1865, Sturgis tells Lincoln that the remaining vampires have fled the country. They're gone to the UK, probably.
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah, that's what he said. They've gone to Europe and South America.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sturgis unsuccessfully tries to convince Lincoln to allow him to turn Lincoln into a vampire so he can become immortal and continue to fight vampires. He declines.
Well, also, that wouldn't work. If you can't cause harm on another vampire.
I know.
What is this bollocks? This film
it does
it's letting itself down at the 11th hour. Up until then, it's been absolutely perfect. It's been very accurate. And
maybe
now
he
it's
meant
letting
like he
itself down.
could help him train more vampire hunters.
And later that night, John Wilkes Booth kills Lincoln.
I'm just like, all that, and he's just going to get shot again, and he's going to get shot anyway.
And then we flash forward to modern times, where we see the outside the White House with a helicopter, and we're like, oh no, it's present day, oh no. And Sturgis is still around, obviously, because he's immortal. He is at a bar, and he sees a young man at the bar, and he says the same thing that I forgot
you didn't
at the start
realize.
of this film, which I didn't real. He says the same thing he said to Lincoln when he first approached him about having a gun. and then he taps him on the back, and a gun falls out of his pocket.
About
The
having
end.
a gun.
Linkin Park plays the end.
It's about
shooting that he says, no, you don't get
being
that drunk
so
unless you're
drunk.
going to kiss a girl or shoot a man, and that's where the gun is.
Great callback.
That you missed.
Penny, what do you think?
And also,
of this film?
I've written, oh no, not Linkin Park. At the end
It's
of it.
such a weird choice.
I swear they did the backing.
It's such a weird choice.
I swear they did the credit song of every film between 2008 and 2012.
What?
Because
Linkin Park?
they did the Transformers as well. They did
they
three
did,
of the
didn't they?
Transformers films.
Yeah, they did. They did quite a bit back in the day. But still, it's just weird for an Abe Lincoln film to have
I just assumed they had a fuck
fucking
ton of money left
Linkin
over
Park.
because I didn't look it up, but I assume this movie cost a fucking fortune. Did anyone?
Probably, I would imagine. Either way, Pen, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I sent you guys a text and it just said, "Oh, well, that was a really expensive why, wasn't it?" I just
Pretty
don't
much.
know.
Is that what that message was about? I ignored it. I had no idea what the fuck you were
Yeah.
talking about.
No, I knew what she was on
I
about.
assume it cost a bunch of money, and I just don't know. It makes slightly
Oh
more
my
sense.
god, guys! Sorry, really quickly. It was in 3D when it came out.
Oh, that's why all
That's why.
the stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's all. Yeah. Oh,
That
okay.
makes slightly more sense.
It also had a budget of between 70 and 100 million.
Yeah, I was just
so
looking at that.
Oh
vague.
my! What?
Yeah, 70. I've got 70 million, and then worldwide gross
Who
116
gave it
million.
100 million?
We know action films are not really my thing anyway, so I honestly,
I mean,
Well, judging from Death of Stalin, neither are history films.
judging by Drive, neither are drama films.
So,
either.
or stylish
I'm
films.
trying.
stylish films.
I'm trying.
Please try more.
Trying. I didn't hate this, but I also didn't. This was absolutely fine.
Was this average?
It was not my average. It's
7
not
out
my
of 10.
It's not. It's not a 7. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine. I can see why they did it. I'm not sure how they got that much money, but they obviously made it back. So when I found out Anthony Mackie was in it, I'd be like, oh, I kind of want to see what, like now he's the Falcon. Be like, oh, how'd you feel about doing that shit? But he'd probably be like, yeah, it was fine. It made a bunch of money and people liked it. So yeah, you going to make me do a score right now?
Yes, that's how we do this podcast.
I was originally going to give it a 3 to be funny because Y has 3 letters in it, and all I could think of was Y. But it was average. It was not my average, so it was a 5.
5. Okay. Andy, your pick?
It's very stylish. It looks.
It is very.
It does look delicious. Particularly that Frogger scene, the horse one.
Froggers. I love you just called it. It's canon now. It's the Frogger.
It's the
scene,
Frogger
yeah?
scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever there's someone jumping over more than 2 or 3 things, it's a Frogger scene.
It's the Frogger scene.
Yeah, it was. The story was very interesting. I believe it was historically accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
We're going down that route, are we?
Characters were fine. Abe Lincoln was quite boring, but I imagine he was a boring dude as himself. Mary Todd was also quite dull, but again, I imagine that's the same. Jimmy Simpson was great. I wanted to say Colin Salmon, but he wasn't in it. The vampires were good. I mean, they didn't make sense in terms of like their power sets, but they were good. I want to. I mean, is 9 too high?
Oh, wow.
You can always tell he's taking the piss. Like, it's so easy to say.
9. No.
Come on, do it.
All right, I'm going to go. It is absolutely fine. I wouldn't rush to watch it again. It's been at least probably 8 years since I've last seen it, and I don't remember much apart from the flaming bridge and the horse scene from then. I will say the axe skills are genuinely impressive. I want to try those, but I am cautious that I will cut my legs off.
I mean, you could do it with quite a blunt axe.
Or I could just take the blade off.
Well, then you're just doing it with a stick. That's not the
What's
same.
wrong with that?
It's not
Still
the same.
impressive.
Now you've gone Power Rangers
Yeah.
kind of.
You're saying if I
even
do it with a
just
stick, it's not going to be impressive?
Oh
If-
my god!
honestly,
Please film it. You'll
if
be
I
like
had a
that
stick-
lightsaber kid on YouTube.
We're looking for a new host as of next week.
And
Andy
he's
has
got no
lost his
legs.
arm. Yeah, no legs.
Yeah, it's fine, innit?
Is it? I don't know. You tell me.
I'm looking forward to the sequel, Margaret Thatcher Werewolf Pimp, though.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. What's his score?
Oh, right, yeah. 5.
5.
I'm just so I'm looking on Wikipedia, and at the see also bits, there's another couple of films that we should check out. Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Yep.
Queen Victoria, Demon Hunter.
No.
Or my favourite, and the one that I think we should watch immediately after recording, Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
This is still like how Lewis and I want to watch Velocipasta, though.
Wait, is it Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter, or Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter?
I'm just going to read the plot of Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
I hope it's a musical, like Jesus Christ Superstar.
No, well, it might be, but Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter is a 2001 Canadian horror parody film which deals with Jesus' modern-day struggle to protect the lesbians of Ottawa from vampires with the help of Mexican wrestler El Santo.
So why did the vampires just say lesbians? What's that about?
I don't know, but it could be the greatest film of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm putting it on my list. What was it? Was it Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter?
Yeah.
I'm sticking on the list.
Oh my god, that's killed me.
5 out of 10 for me, please.
Okay.
10 out of 10 for Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
So I've kind of said all I need to say really, but it's it felt like 2 movies in one. The pacing of it was a bit all over the place. It was either really fucking high paced, and it was cool when the high paced stuff was in, and then you just had this kind of like drama-y stuff going on in the background where they obviously had to shoehorn in Abe Lincoln's story at some point and then had the action stuff. But it was fun to watch. Like I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's a dumb fun film. Like a lot of Andy's films that he does bring to the table, they're dumb fun. They're just things you can watch and switch your brain off for a bit and kind of enjoy them. And I get that people will enjoy those kind of films. Personally, for me as a person, as a real person, I just couldn't get on with it because it was just too much. It was too over the top at times, and it just was a bit. It didn't make a lot of sense, and it needs to make sense for me to kind of get into it a little bit. But I still have fun with it. I still think it's a fun ride through the ages of Abe Lincoln's story. A different story, but it's still fun. I'm also going to give it a 5. I'll give it a 5.
Average across the board, and like real average, not even my average.
In case you're new, Film Out of the Hat is where we take a film, we'll watch it in 2 weeks' time.
Hope it's one
from
of
a bunch
mine
of films that we put in.
I haven't had one of mine in ages.
How many? We've had 3 of Andy's. I think we've had 4 of mine and 2 of yours. We had 40 Days and 40 Nights, Pen. That was the last one of yours, wasn't it?
Which I didn't even really want to watch. We needed to have the conversation.
Can we bin it off and just do Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter? Because I'm reading the plot and good fucking god, it is incredible.
Can we watch it when I come and visit?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Spoilers.
We're going to meet in real life, everyone. I've never met Dan. He's so excited. Can't you tell?
Yes. Very.
I'm going to make sure I'm working that day.
I'm staying at your house.
Really busy, Pen. I can't do it. Okay, right. Let's find out a film for in 2 weeks' time. Sorry, AMSR listeners, for that loud trumpet noise. We hope you resume your sleep as soon as possible. Sorry for the loud sounding noises. Hope you're still enjoying your sleep there. Thank you very much. The film we are watching in 2 weeks' time is... Sorry, Pen. It's a Dan film. It's back to me. That only means we're going to get like a slate of
We're going to get
films.
a fuck ton of shit 90s horror films back to back.
Back to back every fucking 2 weeks. It's a Dan film. I'm very, very excited about this film because I don't think you guys have seen it and I think you will both enjoy it. And the last time I said that, it was Parasite and you both did. It's from 2014. It's an Argentinian film, so there is subtitles, but it is called Wild Tales. To describe it, I'm going to be as less spoilery as possible. It's an anthology film about 6 stories.
Ooh, we love
about human behavior.
Okay.
And That's all I'm gonna say. But I fucking love this film so much. It's I think it's on Amazon Prime. I don't think it's on Netflix, but it is definitely worth a watch. 6 short stories, very violent and stuff, and it's a 15, so it's not like a PG anthology kind of thing. So it's real good though, real good. And we'll watch that in 2 weeks' time.
Excellent.
I'm just looking at all the stuff that I've already got in the hat, and I'm very excited to watch like so many of them in a row.
Behind the scenes, you guys
Sausages.
went more bad than
I
good,
didn't. I told you I picked films. No, I didn't.
Pen, you did.
No,
You
I
did.
picked films that
Pen-
I genuinely like and want to share
Yeah.
with the world.
Yeah, Pen puts in films that she thinks are good and no one else does.
And
I put in films that I know are bad but will start a conversation.
there's I would say, like, in terms of ranking them, I literally went 50-50. I went, here's like a bunch that I really love, and here's a bunch that
I
know
didn't
hate.
try and upset you guys. That's just the person I am.
I know, but that what makes good entertainment. That you're like, this is great, and me and Andy are just like, this is the worst thing ever.
To be fair,
yeah.
I'm also looking at a list that I've been making of films to put in when we redo it again, and it's still all films that I like and think other people might like, but they're getting a little bit more. Well, that one's got Muppets in it, so Andy won't like it.
I can't wait to watch a Muppet film.
So you're putting them in deliberately because they've got Muppets in it?
Only one, but that's because it's the best Muppet movie of all time.
Is it Muppets Take Manhattan?
It is. We've had this conversation, but it's not in the hat yet because we haven't redone it. But most of the, like, all the ones that I'm still gonna pick are still films that I like and I want people to watch. So
I think we should do it every 6 months. So we're coming up to that 6-month period now. I think July. So
yeah.
we could refresh it in July and see what happens.
You just
then.
don't want to watch any
Get
of my
some-
movies. You want to keep putting in more of your movies.
I've had some. Okay, I haven't had the greatest. I mean, Casino Royale was fun.
I think you've had the most films drawn out though, haven't you? In total?
At
How
this
does
rate,
that
I've had.
happen?
It's random.
I
Trust
know.
me. I've had. This is my 5th film from this year, or from since we redid the hat. This was the 5th film. Shit.
Which was what, episode 40?
I don't know.
24?
Casino Royale, Johnny Mnemonic, Mike Moore from Power Rangers, Triple X, and now this. So,
Well,
Yeah.
enjoy your 90s movies when we get there.
Penny.
I'm not excited.
what's our socials, please?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Unusual Suspects Pod and on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I am at Penny_photopit.
At Dan Talks a Lot. Sorry, it's drinking wine. Dan Talks a Lot.
That choice is 21.
I needed it to get through that. We'll be back next week. Little reminder. Hey, we've had a bunch of kind of new listens and stuff. We've been checking the stats. Stats have gone up. Thanks, guys. But hey,
He didn't tell us that.
I mean, you have access to the same fucking page
You
I
told
do,
me off for
so
looking
I
at
don't
the
know.
stats all the time.
Well, it's because you were looking at them 4 hours after an episode was posted.
Week 1, you were looking at the first podcast. You were like, oh, look, our stats have gone up.
We've got 7 listeners, and then 20 minutes later, we've still got 7 listeners. Is it not working?
I was really excited. That's because I listened 7 times. So I was like, how can it just be 7?
Well, now it's Lindsay who's listening all the time because she's just got us on repeat every night. So thanks, Lindsay. Hope you're sleeping well.
Thanks for those numbers. So if you are new to this podcast and you are checking us out, do rate us, though, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and stuff. Spotify don't have a rating system yet, which I don't know why the fuck they don't, but hopefully one day they will. It'd be really nice. And hey, if you rate us, if you send us a message on Twitter, send us a message on Facebook, we'll probably might be reading it out, maybe.
We'll probably
depending
reply.
how-
We've
how-
got not a lot else to do. Well, apart from Andy.
Well, depending how interesting your comment is, we'll read it out. And how I feel that day.
I'm way too busy for that.
Oh, and thanks to Joe for your pictures of cats with thumbs up on the last episode because it made me laugh. So yeah, send us comments that make me laugh.
We got pictures of cats with thumbs up. I didn't.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I made aware of this?
What?
Because we were talking
You've
about...
got access to them as well, Dan.
you've
You should
got
have checked
access to the
yourself.
Facebook too.
Where are they?
On
It was on
Facebook.
Facebook.
Where are they? And where can I find that Facebook page?
We've already done the socials, so
Yeah.
if they rewind 90 seconds,
Unusual
they'll find out.
Suspect Pod.
It's all about advertising.
I'm selling out.
It's advertising.
Advertising now. I don't go on Facebook, so I wouldn't have seen it. But anyway, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
For that. And
thanks for enabling
speak
us.
to you all. Thanks for and enabling us, for accepting us into your lives
and
as
your
a daily
ear holes
thing on a Wednesday, and your ear holes every Wednesday. Welcome to the AMSR.
We do love
podcast. I've had some. Jesus Christ! Fucking hell, Ben. That would have woken up every. Stop!
Is it that loud?
Stop!
Sorry.
We want to be nice to people. We want to thank them and say thanks for letting us come into your ears.
Fucking hell,
is this better? With a paintbrush.
What are you doing?
It's like they do on YouTube.
Penny's lost her fucking marbles. She's just pissing around with the microphone.
Yeah, because it's
55
ASMR.
episodes she's done with the microphone, and now she's like, I want to play with it.
Don't you watch those videos on YouTube? ASMR makes my legs feel weird. I don't really like it.
And on that note, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Jesus. At least it's just the legs are not between them. Goodbye.
Andrew!